Imagine this. You finally own your dream home in a quiet suburban neighborhood, the kind with manicured lawns and friendly waves from neighbors. But then, out of nowhere, your HOA sends a letter claiming a chunk of your backyard, the spot where you've built a cozy patio and planted a garden for years, suddenly belongs to the community common area. They demand you remove everything immediately or face massive fines. How could this happen overnight? That's exactly what hit me like a ton of bricks one Tuesday morning. I remember pulling the certified letter from my mailbox, heart sinking as I read the words. The Evergreen Meadows Homeowners Association had updated the official plat map, redrawing the boundary lines to shift my property edge inward by 15 feet. According to their new document, my beloved patio, the shed I'd poured sweat into building, and even part of my kids' swing set were now encroaching on HOA land. They attached a glossy map, stamped and signed by the board president, Karen Whitmore, a woman who'd been ruling our neighborhood with an iron fist for over a decade. At first, I was furious but compliant. Who argues with official maps? I called an emergency family meeting that night. My wife, Sarah, was livid. Our two kids, Emma and Jack, were confused about why they might lose their play area. This can't be right, Sarah said, scrolling through old photos of our backyard barbecue parties. We've been here 8 years. Nothing's changed. But the letter threatened daily fines of $100, escalating quickly, plus liens on our house if we didn't dismantle everything within 30 days. The next day, I attended the HOA meeting, map in hand, ready to plead my case. The community clubhouse was packed. Turns out, I wasn't the only one affected. 3 other homeowners on our cul-de-sac had received similar letters. Their backyards were also reclaimed for a proposed expansion of the common green space, supposedly to build a new playground. Karen stood at the podium, smug as ever, explaining how the board had discovered errors in the old plat and corrected them for the greater good. This will benefit everyone, she cooed. Higher property values, better amenities. Applause from her loyal followers, groans from the rest of us. One neighbor, old Mr. Harlan, piped up, "I've lived here 25 years. My fence has been exactly where it is since day one." Karen dismissed him with a wave. "Records evolve, Mr. Harlan. We've consulted professionals." But something about her tone rubbed me wrong. She avoided eye contact, shuffling papers nervously when pressed for details on who exactly corrected the map. That night, doubt gnawed at me. Why now? Our neighborhood was stable. Dues were paid. No major complaints. Karen had been pushing for this playground for years, but funding always fell short. Suddenly, reclaiming land from 4 properties would give them prime space without buying anything new. Coincidence? I decided to dig deeper. I started simple, pulling up our original purchase documents from 8 years ago. The plat map included in our closing packet showed clear boundaries, my backyard extending all the way to the old oak tree line. No overlap with common areas. Then I compared it to the HOA's new version. The lines were subtly shifted, but the surveyor's stamp looked off, fainter, almost like a high-quality scan rather than original ink. Curiosity turned to suspicion. The following weekend, I drove to the county recorder's office. I'd never been there before, but a quick Google search told me all official plat maps and boundary records are public. The clerk was helpful, pulling up files for Evergreen Meadows. What I found stopped me cold. The original plat, filed when the neighborhood was developed in the early 2000s, matched my closing documents perfectly. My property line was exactly where I'd always known it. But there was no record, no amendment, no resurvey, nothing of any changes since then. The HOA's updated map wasn't filed anywhere official. It didn't exist in city records. My hands shook as I requested certified copies. The clerk raised an eyebrow. "You folks having boundary issues?" she asked. I nodded vaguely, mind racing. If the HOA was using a fake map to seize land, this wasn't just petty overreach, it was fraud. Back home, I shared everything with Sarah. We pored over the documents late into the night. The implications were huge. Not only was my patio safe, but the HOA had no legal ground to demand removal. More than that, fabricating official-looking documents to alter property boundaries, That could be criminal. I didn't sleep much that week. Instead, I researched quietly. Turns out, HOAs can't unilaterally redraw boundaries. Any change to plat maps requires a formal resurvey by a licensed professional, approval from affected owners, and filing with the county, none of which happened here. Karen and her board had apparently photoshopped or had someone do it, an altered version complete with forged signatures and stamps to bully us into giving up land. Why? Digging further on community forums and old meeting minutes, available online through the HOA's site, ironically, I uncovered whispers. Karen's son owned a landscaping company bidding on the new playground project. If the HOA acquired our land for free, they'd save tens of thousands on purchase costs, funneling more money to construction and potentially to her family. I needed proof, but carefully. Confronting them directly might make them destroy evidence. So I rallied the other affected neighbors. Mr. Harlan was all in. He'd fought Karen before over trivial things like his holiday lights. The other two families, the Garcias and the Patels, joined too. We formed a quiet alliance, sharing notes and documents. Our first move: send polite letters requesting the source of their updated map, the surveyor's name, filing number, everything. Karen responded with vague deflections. Board decision, for community benefit. No specifics. That's when I went bigger. I contacted a real estate attorney specializing in HOA disputes, recommended by a friend. Over coffee, I laid out the originals versus their fake. His eyes lit up. This is textbook fraud, he said, attempting to deprive owners of property through deception. We can stop this cold and make them pay. He advised filing a complaint with the county first to establish the official record. I did, attaching certified copies. The county planning department confirmed. No changes ever filed. Their map was bogus. Word spread quietly in the neighborhood. More homeowners grew uneasy. If the board would fake maps for land, what else were they lying about? Dues misspent? Secret deals? The turning point came at the next HOA meeting. Armed with printouts, I stood up during open forum. I'd like clarification on the recent boundary updates, I began calmly. Karen tried to shut me down, but bylaws allowed questions. I projected the original county plat on the screen. I'd borrowed a projector from work. Then their version. Side by side, the differences were glaring. Gasps rippled through the room. Where's the official filing for this change? I asked. Silence. Karen stammered about internal records. Mr. Harlan chimed in. I checked the county myself. Nothing there. Chaos erupted. Questions flew. Why the secrecy? Who authorized this? Karen adjourned early, face red. But we weren't done. My attorney sent a cease and desist, demanding they retract the letters and confirm in writing that boundaries remained as original, or face lawsuit for fraud, slander of title, and emotional distress. They ignored it at first. Fines started trickling in for non-compliance. That's when we escalated. The fallout hit faster than anyone expected. Within days of our cease and desist, Karen called an emergency board meeting, but this time attendance overflowed. Dozens showed up, many who'd been neutral before now demanding answers. Social media groups buzzed. A private neighborhood Facebook page exploded with scans of the mismatched maps. My small alliance grew. We circulated a petition for a full audit of HOA records, including all financials and documents related to the map update. Over 60% of homeowners signed within a week, enough under bylaws to force it. Karen fought back dirty. Anonymous letters appeared in mailboxes, accusing me of dividing the community and selfishly blocking progress. Someone egged my car, but it backfired. Sympathy swung our way. People shared their own Karen horror stories. Arbitrary fines, ignored maintenance requests, skyrocketing dues with nothing to show. The attorney upped the pressure. We filed a formal demand for inspection of all HOA books. State law guaranteed owners this right. When they dragged their feet, he threatened litigation. Finally, they complied, but under supervision. What we uncovered was explosive. Not only was the map fake, traced from the original with alterations in basic editing software, but emails showed Karen coordinating with a shady surveyor, her nephew, unlicensed, to create it. Worse, financials revealed irregularities. Thousands siphoned to vague, consulting fees paid to companies linked to board members, including Karen's son's firm. The playground? A smokescreen. Bids were inflated, kickbacks suspected. Reserves were dangerously low, yet dues had risen 20% last year. We presented findings at a special meeting. The room was electric. Karen tried bluster. Misunderstandings. We'll correct everything. But too late. A vote of no confidence passed overwhelmingly. The entire board resigned voluntarily to avoid removal. New elections followed quickly. I didn't run too much spotlight but supported reasonable candidates. A fresh board took over, prioritizing transparency. They hired a legitimate surveyor to confirm boundaries. Originals stood. All encroachment letters retracted. Fines refunded with apologies. The fake map? Turned over to authorities. The county investigated for filing false instruments. A felony. Karen faced charges, her son too, for conspiracy. Civil suits followed. My group sued for damages. Legal fees, stress, property devaluation fears. We settled favorably. The HOA's insurance covered most, but personal contributions from ex-board members stung. Today, Evergreen Meadows thrives under better leadership. Dues stabilized, actual improvements happened. Repaired roads, a modest playground on true common land. Neighbors wave genuinely now. And me? My patio stands proud, swing set swinging. Every barbecue I raise a glass to original records, and the power of checking them. Karen? She sold her house quietly, moved away. Rumor says she's in a non-HOA condo now. Karma's map doesn't lie.